Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, and this is my tips and tricks guide for Master Roshi in Dragon Ball FighterZ. Now, as always, these guides are going to be long. They're going to be covering a lot of topics, from basic stuff to more advanced theory, so there will be timestamps in this video, so feel free to skip ahead to whatever interests you, because there's going to be a lot to go over. So with that said, traditionally we always just start with the base move set, so let's go there. So let's go over his special moves, his super moves, and his command normals. First up here, his first special is the Wise Warrior, which is quarter circle forward, light, medium, and heavy. And this is a side switching move. This move here is also air okay, just so you know. And the main use is exactly that, side switching. Now also, it does wall bounce, which is great. So specifically, like, this is the medium version here. So if I'm doing like basic combo in the corner, like I'm the one cornered, I can just as easily switch the tables on him, right? So here we go. Okay, I was cornered, and now guess what, buddy boy? You're the one that's getting comboed out. I'm doing great. So yeah, great to switch sides, and the medium and EX versions always give a wall bounce. So if you're looking for more fancier combos, fancier extensions, and don't drop it because you're talking like I do, try it out. Next up is Martial Spirit, quarter circle back, light, medium, and heavy. And Roshi turns into his old self, the self we never really get to see explored too much in Dragon Ball. Before Goku ever showed up, Roshi was this big buff dude. We don't get to see it. But yeah, in the game, gets to relive the memory for a hot second. And this is one of his best moves. So what makes it so good? Well, one of the big things here is it has what we call a guard point. Guard point's a little bit different than armor. So, without getting into the meat and potatoes of it, guard points are basically like armor. Not worth going over in this video. So yeah, it has a defensive mechanic, and he can tank the hit, right? And this is awesome. It's a defensive mechanic. It happens very early, frame 4, and we'll talk about the applications of that later in the video. And also, the medium version is a wall bounce as well, so you can like recombo and all that kind of stuff. It's fantastic in that regard. The EX version, the guard point happens on the first frame, so it makes it a true reversal if you're in like, being staggered on, or like any situation where the enemy is plus in your face. You can always rest assured this will get you out of dodge. You will save your bacon with this move, of course, unless it gets blocked, because it is very unsafe on block, to say the least. But good combo potential, good defensive potential. EX is his best defensive move. So yeah, you definitely want to know that one. And yeah, just great all around. The jumping splits, that is down, down, light, medium, and heavy. So the light version moves backwards, the medium version moves forward, and the heavy version, the X, just in place. So the big thing here, it's a very interesting move. So while it doesn't have like, this raw defensive power of hulking out with the guard point and all that kind of stuff, it actually still has defensive properties to it, as you can see here, his toes leave the ground, and that is reflected in game, as moves that hit low can just go right through them. So the light and medium versions, that doesn't happen right away. It happens also on frame 4, just like say the Hulk out having the guard point, and the X version, that happens frame 1. So if they're gonna just prank you with a low, you can just go right over it. And of course, the EX version gives a wall bounce, so you get a full combo afterwards as well if you guess correctly. There's a lot of stuff to it, especially with the backward movement on the light version. We'll cover that more in depth later in the video. But yeah, pretty interesting move. Roshi, of course, has a Kamehameha, quarter circle forward and S, and not too much to say about it. It's one of those, if you will. The big difference here is it is a single hit versus, say, multi-hits like many beams in this game. But otherwise, hey, it kind of does what it does, and it is really good at what it does, which is control a lot of space. The Thunder Shock Surprise. That is quarter circle back and S, and you can also hold up or down to aim it upwards instead of the normal angle it's at. We're going to talk a lot about this move later in the video. Just to give a brief recap now before we go more in depth, this move cannot be guarded against. As in, say the enemy is set to block, not happening. On the ground, in the air, you're not blocking this move. If you're the type of person to just kind of flit around, all that kind of stuff, it is decidedly not going to work in your favor because he will grab you out of the air, and that is all she wrote. Going to go more in depth on this later in the video, but it's Roshi's best move. The Lullaby Fist, that is down, down, S. This is a command grab. So when that enemy is blocking too much, hey, he's got you. And it causes a crumple stun from which you go into a combo of your choice. Now, it is a little bit slower than the average command grab in this game. Ones where you can combo from them tend to be about 24 frames. This is 28 frames. But the thing is here, you get full combo everywhere on the screen. The ones that are 24 frames, like the Broly's, those versions of combo, they got to be in the corner. And if it's not in the corner, they got to burn a bar, right? Roshi, it's always a full combo no matter where you are. So yeah, it's a couple frames slower, but hey, I think it's worth the trade-off, especially since, in my opinion, it's a little harder to read at the start here. The animation he doesn't immediately scream grab for the first few frames. Like, eventually when he gets there with, like, this whole Guldo wave going on, sure, whatever. But the first few frames, it's a little hard to read. So, I think it's great. Any command grab, even if it's a slow, quote-unquote, bad one, is a great tool for any character to have in their arsenal. And Roshi having this on top of, like, all his, like, crazy mobility options and all that, it's great. It's fantastic. Now, on to his super moves. First up here, we got the Mafuba, which is a level 1. And it's pretty interesting in that it forces a tag out. So if it does not kill the enemy and there's more than one enemy left, it will tag out an enemy, and you do get to choose which enemy it will be. It is in effect just like a snapback. Like, you choose which character's coming in, both for snapbacks, both for Mafuba, and it works the same way. With Season 3, the defender has an option to have like a quick incoming, slow incoming, all that kind of stuff. They get all the same defensive properties. So it is basically a ranged super style snapback with all the good and all that bad that comes with it. And it does have a pretty cool, unique animation if you actually kill a character with it, because he puts his thumb down on the jar. But otherwise, it's not the main event for level 1s. The main events for level 1s is this guy. So he clubs you with the cane, and he just goes to town. That's all well and good, and it scales a bit better than most level 1s at minimum scaling, meaning it does more damage to combos than most level 1s, but it has a follow-up, another bar. So if you choose to spend the other bar, he'll instead just go down here and just crank you with a Kamehameha, right? So he is a character that is able to extend his super for the cost of another bar. Those kind of supers are mildly rare in this game, so it's always better to have it than not, to be sure, and hey, he has it. So that works out great for him, and also great out for any team comps, as you can get some pretty interesting stuff with it as well, which will go more in depth later in the video. And for his level 3, the greatest Kamehameha. So looks great. I love the animation, actually. I just think it's really neat. But as far as level 3s go, it's one of those. Like, it's nothing too special. It gives serviceable pressure Okizeme in the corner, which we'll talk about later in that section. But other than that, it's just another level 3 that looks pretty, and that's all it really needs to be. Now on to the command normals, and Roshi's got quite a few. First up here is the after image. That's this guy here, and this is a true left-right cross-up. So if Roshi's here, starts to move, you did have to block the other way, or you will get hit. Now that said, the frame data, as you can see here, 37 frames, so it's over half a second. It's not exactly the most lightning quick move in the game, but hey, it still can catch people sleeping at the wheel, and you can do this and call an assist to cover you. And also, the move itself is safe on block. You're still negative. Yes, you will lose your turn, yes, but it is indeed safe on block. So if they do block it, you just gotta lose your turn. Like, it's not a guaranteed punish or anything, right? But yeah, all you have to do is watch out. Roshi takes that pose behind his back. He is not doing anything else. Like, he could vanish cancel it, but that would just put him on the other side anyways. Otherwise, he's kind of locked into the move. Rising Phoenix, that is down forward heavy, this guy here. And this is really good. First up here, which is not immediately obvious, but it does have the anti-air property. So it can stop super dashes, all that kind of stuff. And the big thing here is just great for combo extension. So I could do just, something really basic like this. And before I jump, I can just toss that guy in. and then jump, right? So it just helps you get a little bit more damage in combos, all that kind of stuff. And in that regard, it's all it needs to be is just another command normal for combos. You get more hits, you get more damage, you get more meter, and that's awesome. The turtle orb, very interesting. So that's forward and S, your key blast button here. And yeah, he shoots his key blast, and it's a traditional key blast, so it's super dashable, all that kind of stuff. And it shoots it at a pretty strong angle. If you are a character that is mildly tall, as in aka just not one of the very small characters, you can actually hit them standing from a decent length away as well. And it's pretty key in a lot of special fantasy combos, which we'll go over later. But yeah, so it's just good screen control for the most part. And he does move backwards, and here's the bonus. You can boomerang it. So if you do the same input here, he'll call it back, and it will come through the bottom of the screen. So if you're like higher up or you jumped, whatever, it's not going to connect. But yeah, it'll come through the bottom of the screen and just go from there. And the second hit is special cancelable, normal cancelable, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just really strong all around for combos, for neutral, for everything. The back kick, which is literally just back and medium while you're in the air, and he'll just cross up the enemy. If you ever played King of Fighters, Yori, big fan of this move. But yeah, it's literally as advertised. So if you're any kind of jumping over their head and you don't want to wait for the character itself to like turn around to do a normal, like, you know, something just like a regular old instant air dash, right? You can rest assured this will always hit cross up no matter what. So just a really good fundamental tool that just always assures you get what you want. Now, down S, that is a backflip, and this also works in the air, just so you know. And the backflip, well, on top of gaining space, is projectile immune for Ki Blast. Now, big boy projectiles like a beam, not so much. You could avoid it if like you actually go above it when you're doing your flip, but otherwise it has no special properties. But against Ki Blast, hey, yeah, you actually can flip through them. Now, the usability of that, we don't know. We'll see, but it just helps you gain space backwards, right? And you can do it like special cancel because it is a normal, so you don't have to like actually just jump in neutral. So you can go like a whole block string and then go into it. Now, you can also cancel the landing into a heavy normal or into a special move instead of just landing if you so wish. We'll see how it goes over life for the character, how useful this is, but still it's a tool in the toolbox, and it's always better to have more tools than not. Okay, so let's talk about, I guess, the biggest thing about Master Roshi is his movement is not the same as everybody else's. He has these hops, and he has these aerial Kamehamehas. And we're just going to talk about them because if you don't understand how this stuff works, you are going to be completely lost with this character. So let's talk about it. So Roshi cannot super dash. That's one of the most core mechanics of this game. For better or for worse, super dashing is one of the things that absolutely defines what Dragon Ball FighterZ is, and he can't do it. He's the only character in the game that cannot do it. So let's talk about the hops first. The hops are his grounded version of getting around this. So he has 5 hops. He has the base hop. So I'm assuming you're on default controller just for easy use. So that'd be R2 or RT. Default hop is this guy right here. You can also hold back to get a different angle. Down back to get a different angle, much higher as you can see there. Down to get a different angle, and also down forward. So basically, the lowest of the ground is the basic one. Back is the second lowest. Down back is the highest. Down, second highest, and down forward, more aggressive, like super jump style leap, if you would. And each hop has its own property in that they are all Ki Blast immune, just like a regular old super dash in that regard, right? But the thing is here, which is a little bit different, is it's not that it reflects the Ki Blast, is it just is straight up immune to them. And the difference is if someone does a Ki Blast and they reflect it through like a super dash, or like if it gets beat out for whatever reason, doesn't hit the enemy, they're always allowed to like normal cancel. So you could like bait someone with a Ki Blast over and over and over. And as soon as they try to super dash that Ki Blast, you down heavy them and crank them, right? So this bypassing them entirely doesn't give that opportunity, can't trigger that. So in a way, it is better than super dash in that regard, but it is a little slower and does have some landing recovery. So that's step one. This is what you do when you're on the ground. And also, just in case you're not aware, if you normally hit your homing dash button after, like, say, a down heavy, you're not going to immediately follow up. You'll have to actually do, like, the manual jump distance. So you have to pick the 5 directions and do what's appropriate, or you can just hit the button again and you'll always do the right one. So just do that. Now, if you hit the super dash button in the air, in any kind of the air, even off, the command hop itself, you will do this Kamehameha dash, for lack of a better term. And in this, it is also directional. So you have up, back, down, back, up, forward, forward, down, forward. These are the 6 directions you can do it. If you hit no direction at all, you'll just go forward. And each of the other directions is basically, you want Roshi to go in that direction. So if I want Roshi to go up and forward, I'll hold up and forward and he'll go that way. If I want him to go down forward, hey, there you go. If I want him to go backwards, he'll go backwards. All that kind of stuff. So that is what you need to know. And as far as the defensive property of the move, it's treated like a super dash in that it goes through Ki Blast. So, hey, just so you know. And here's the other thing. That Kamehameha attached to it, it is not ceremonial. It is a real one. So it has all the same properties of any Kamehameha. It has beam durability, so completely blow past basic Ki Blast, all that kind of stuff. It works. And if you want to, like, try to zone with it, yeah, you can totally angle it in such a way in the air. You can blast the enemy with it. This is a viable tactic. It hurts just as hard. So if you actually want to use it as an attack, you can as well. So it is both attack and movement. So between the two, the hop and the Kamehameha dash, you will need to learn how these work, both separately and together, because this is how he moves besides just, like general movement, right? He does not have the one button fix all like every other character in the game has, besides the super dash. So yeah, these are key. If you don't learn these, you're not going to learn Roshi correctly. Now, to bring up some notable normals here. First up, just basic, but stand heavy. It's got some range. It's not quite like Nappa good or something, but considering it hits from like roughly this far away, yeah, man, just keep it in mind is all I'm saying, right? Because if you can crank someone from that far away, it is a pretty solid tool. That's about max distance right there. Yeah, so just keep it in mind. Now, the other thing here is stand S. So he doesn't have like a normal Ki Blast style Ki Blast. He has this guy here. Doesn't hit from full screen. Hits pretty decently far, but not full screen, right? But here's the thing. One, even though it is technically your Ki Blast button, you cannot super dash this move. It is like adult Gohan's. So yeah. So if you looking for something a bit faster than the beam, you're worried they're going to super dash out, keep in mind this move totally cranks super dashes. Also, anything you do into it is basically guaranteed jail. So jail's in the stand heavy, like a lot of your base normals, they don't jail in stand heavy. Like here, let me set the bot up. So normals like, stand medium and stand heavy don't work. Crouch medium, stand heavy don't work, but stand S and stand heavy does. S also jails into your Kamehameha. Also jails in the Vanish. There's no way to get out of that, right? So it just holds a decent amount of block stun. So that's the gist and general utility of that move. Also very strong normal is forward S. So this is his unique Ki Blast here. And what makes this so cool, on top of the fact it's just really good, right? Both for combos, just both for general screen control, because it hits at a great angle, all that kind of stuff. The callback, the boomerang part of this, is plus on block. It's +2. So if they block it, and then we're just both right here, and we both hit a button at the same time, yo, I'm going to win every single time, right? So it basically creates a situation just like after a Vanish where you have the total advantage, and they kind of got to guess what you're going to do next. Now, it's not free, right? So there's enough of a gap there between the callback, like they can hit a button or something, right? But then it becomes like a learning experience where you can like delay and cancel in like a stand heavy, or just cancel into anything else, and cancel into like stand S as well. Like just something to trick them up, right? To make them respect the fact that like, okay, if you try to mash a button or super dash out or something, instead what's going to happen is you're going to get your head caved in by my next move, right? And once they start respecting that, then all of a sudden you get to keep the boomerang going, then you get your plus frames, and Bob's your uncle. Do whatever you want to do with that. So just a great normal all along. So just pound for pound, man, anything gives you plus frames in this game. Plus frames are very rare in this game. Awesome. And it's meterless. It doesn't cost you a dime. It's already attached to one of your best moves to begin with. So yeah, awesome. So now let's talk the assists. So first up here, Master Roshi has a Kamehameha, a beam assist, right? Many characters now in Season 3 finally have beam assists, not just Super Saiyan Goku, Goku Black. And it's just as good as any of those, if not even a little bit better in a weird way, as it has just a little bit more block stun here. So 32 frames of advantage for his Kamehameha versus 30 for basically all the other ones, right? So just a little bit more block stun. It's only 2 frames, but it could be the exact amount you need maybe for like a certain float setups or something like that, which Roshi can't do, which we'll talk about later in the video. But yeah, just, hey, more equal better in that regard. Now, the other big thing here, besides just giving a little bit more block stun, is it is a single hit versus the multi-hits that beams tend to be, right? Now, this is a blessing in a way. Now, you don't lose that on the wall bounce, so you can still do beam into Dragon Rush, all that stuff, so don't worry about losing that. But the thing that helps here is, normally the beams that carry you out right away. This being the single hit, all the hit stops in the first hit, meaning you can do it, and then like actually follow up, right? Versus being quite a bit difficult to follow up after a beam mid-screen in this game. So, for combo ability, it's actually a little bit superior to the average beam assist. You still get that wall bounce, which is what you want for Dragon Rush combos, all that stuff in the corner. That's great. But for mid-screen, you actually get a giant chance to hit the enemy because they're stuck in the beam in the initial hit versus just being carried away. So, compared to most other beam assists, the only thing I can knock it for, really, is the beam is not as wide. But in all other aspects, it's basically just a little bit better in what is already pound for pound the best style of assist in the game. So, hey, I'm just telling you right now, cannot go wrong picking it. Next up, we have his B assist. Now, this guy is really good as well. So, first up here, if it connects, well, hey, you're in like a year of hit stun, right? It is no real issue to hit confirm off this. If you cannot hit them with the time you are given, I don't know what you were doing, but you're doing something else. So that's really good. Also, as far as defensive properties, because this move by itself normally, when you're playing as Roshi, has defense, a guard point attached to it. And yes, it does as well, right? So if the enemy tosses out the jab, as we're seeing here, as long as you toss it out once Roshi's kind of hit the ground, hey, Roshi will have that defensive property built in. Now, here's the thing. You can totally be hit out of it. So this is not a assist you're going to mash and hope to save your butt when they're like right beside you. It won't work in that regard because you can hit him out of it. But still, once he gets going, then he will have that guard point. And at that point, then, hey, awesome. And then connects and world's your oyster. Now, the big deal here, I guess the biggest selling point of it, is the block stun. So it has 46 frames of block stun. That is well in excess of average. One of the highest block stun moves in the game, period. And yeah, there's a premium on high block stun assists in this game. There's not many assists that let you get a high amount of block stun. Like even 36 is considered a high amount of block stun. And this is 46, right? So with that in mind, you get all sorts of mix-up potential, all sorts of setup potential, be it like, you know, homing dash mix-ups, you know, float mix-ups, whatever you want. It'll let you set it up. You can do it. So it's very strong in that regard. So it basically becomes a fight of A or B assist. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the C assist, it's just whatever. Like, if you're looking for a C assist for combo stuff, sure, whatever. That's fine. That's fine. C assists are still the best for combos. But in practical sense, it comes down to, do you want the A assist or do you want the B assist? And it basically comes down to, what is your team? Pound for pound, you can't argue with the beam. Never could, never will. Beams work. Beams work on every single possible team, right? But if you are a team specifically that can benefit from that high block stun, because once again, that high block stun is very rare. You don't get this many frames of advantage on an assist, generally speaking, for most of the cast of the game. So if you have a character that can do those setups, that can do those mix-ups, then you got to think about that. So generally speaking, here's how I break it down. Beam assist, if you don't know, then just go beam assist, right? If you have a very specific team in mind, very specific setups in mind, go with the B assist, and only go C assist if you're just really desperate for the easy combos. Okay, let's talk one of the most unique aspects of Roshi, and this is a character with a lot of unique aspects, right? But the Thunder Shock. So this move is unlike anything else in this game. Just everything about it, right? It's air unblockable, all that kind of stuff, right? But the thing I'm going to tell you first up, just to clear up anything, it's not technically unblockable. This move, despite everything it looks like, is actually a command grab. So just like your down S, that kind of deal, all that kind of stuff, you think of Broly, all that kind of stuff, all the grabs, it is one of those, just in a way different form. So what's the difference, I guess, between the unblockable and the command grab? What's the real delineation here? It is simply that you can backdash it. So Broly, big character, and we'll talk about big characters in a second with this here, but I can hit him from this far away with the move, right? So there's no way he should be able to get past it point blank, right? Well, yeah, he totally can. Because backdashes are immune to throws and grabs. So therefore, this is the big deal here. So it being a command grab, you can backdash it. And you can also backdash it in the air as well. So you're never up the creek as far as you're concerned with this move. If you know it's coming, you are able to backdash it. And now that said, if you do it point blank, it totally connects, right? But it is the kind of command grab where it cannot hit people who are crouching. So even though this is like kind of clearly going through Broly's head since he's crouching, this move cannot connect. So if you think you are a smart cookie and you're going to do like, you know, oh look, I'm going to do my block string and then try to tick into this, not going to happen because 9 times out of 10 they will be blocking low, crouch blocking, and this will not connect. So that all said, now you know the delineation here between the command grab and the unblockable. It's still an amazing move, holy crap, right? If any point of this connects, or up if you're aiming it upwards, connects with the foe, they're donezo. They're going to be brought in and brought in very well. It always brings them into the fixed distance here. So if you got specific setups for an assist or whatever, because it can very easily combo off assist, which is great. That's awesome. That works out. Well, it just works out great. There's nothing more to say than that, I guess, right? The one really cool thing about this, because it's always like a fixed distance, right? You can spark and then do your combo. And since Sparking Blast whiffs, it doesn't have the additional hit scaling going on, all that kind of stuff. So you do just much more damage with your combo otherwise than you would normally if the Sparking Blast did connect. Now that brought up here, I don't got any special technique for you. Maybe there'll be some come down the road, come in time. But right now, it's just a blunt hammer, and you should use it as such. You control the airwaves. So if you're fighting some guy and he's just kind of sitting back here, you know, just like floating around, like not engaging, all that kind of stuff, this is the exact move that shuts all that garbage down, come back down to reality, and come back down onto the ground, because you cannot do that against Roshi. Now, one thing to note here, if you saw the companion combo guide, which will also be linked at the end of this video, you saw something like this, comboing into it from down heavy. Now, here's the thing. If you do it right away, it's not going to hit. It won't. You actually have to slightly delay it. And the timing can be a little tricky, as you can see right there, right? So generally just wait a split second after your down heavy connects and then input the move. And I should tell you, it is easier against bigger characters. So it is easier to nail Broly with this than it is to say GT Goku. And that's also one of the really good things about the move. So a character like a Broly, you can crank him with this move from this far away. And yeah, so a character like GT Goku, you'd have to be like this close to connect. So the bigger the character, the easier this is to connect. Either on the ground or especially in the air. The more real estate the character eats up, the better the move gets. So no specific insights I got for you, at least right now, honestly. But yeah, this move is a hammer. And when you have the hammer, every problem is a nail. So use it accordingly. You can get pretty belligerent with this move. It starts up amazingly fast considering what it is. And it also recovers pretty quick. As you can see here, if I whiff it here, By the time someone realizes you whiffed, you can easily block, right? Especially if they're trying to super dash their way in. So yeah, man, this move, it's a $1 million move. Treat it as such. Now, I want to talk about the auto combo for a second here. 2 layers of it. The second hit and the third hit. Because they both got something to say here. First, second here. The second hit, as you can see, it's multiple hits, right? And just the one thing to note about this. Generally speaking, if you're looking to hit confirm or whatever, right? You're going to let all these hit rock, right? Like, hit, okay, go for this, go for a block string, whatever. And if it connects, all the same, right? But every single hit of this, the second hit of the auto combo, is special cancelable. Meaning, if someone is just, waiting out the storm, looking for all this kind of stuff, you can bamboozle them with something like this, right? Since every one of these hits is special cancelable, you could say go for the grab, which is naturally will connect after a block string. You don't need any special timing or anything. Or you can go for it like right after the first hit, right? Now, yes, you have time to visually assess and react to the grab, but the idea here is to be tricky, and you can do it not just off this, but also off your command jumps. So if you're going for like something like that and like attempting to go for the old cross up, you can also do it off the first hit as well. So just keep in mind, all of the hits are special cancelable, hop cancelable, whatever you want to do, it is an option available to you. Now, speaking of the auto combo again here, the final hit. So by itself, you probably didn't notice what happened there, but here's the thing. How do you see that? So normally, you are not allowed to take the corner in Dragon Ball FighterZ. It's kind of one of the core rules of the game, right? But the final hit of his auto combo brings the enemy ever so slightly closer to Roshi, meaning he can totally take the corner. So now it behooves you, now that you know this, well, there's all sorts of shenanigans. So if I were to do something like this here, okay, same side, right? But if I put in that last hit, all of a sudden it is a true cross-up. And yeah, there's just a lot you can work with here. So we got a lab, we got a test here. As a community, we don't have all the answers just yet. Roshi's a new character, but there guaranteed will be setups here with certain assists where you can do it, pull them out, call the right assist, cross up, and they basically got to deal with like weird 50-50 stuff, right? But here is something that you don't need an assist for. You're in Sparking Blast. You can jump cancel anything by yourself, right? So if they are in the corner, and then if they are any kind of asleep at the wheel here, you can cross them up easy peasy, right? So that is an option, and I highly suggest play around with assists here. See what assist gives you specific timings to get your left-right gimmicks going on. It is a very rare concept in this game to have a move to pull people out of the corner, and since Roshi has one, I guarantee you in time there'll be tons of ways to exploit that. Hey, so pretty fancy mid-screen combo, right? So Roshi's got a lot of the fancy stuff, so I guess this section good as any to go over a lot of it. Let's talk a lot of the concepts Roshi has for combos besides just the basic stuff. So let's start with the 5S, the forward and S key blast here, the re-jumps that it gives. So we got two styles. We have mid-screen and we have the corner version. Mid-screen, pretty simple here. Just do whatever you're going to do into it. So it could be at the start of a combo, could be in the middle of a combo as we shown earlier there. Whatever it is, and then all you do, just your regular old command hop. And at that point, you're going to be put in place to basically land at their feet and start smacking those toes and just kind of combo and do whatever you want. There's literally nothing to it here. We'll turn on our display history so we can see the inputs here. And literally, that's all it took. As you see, it is not a whole mess of inputs. It is not some crazy stuff. It is just your regular hop into light. Now, in the corner, it gets a little more complex because we're going to need a little bit of a timing element to it. So to show you an example combo, so start of it just basic as basic gets, right? So light, light, medium, medium, S into H here, and it gives us the smash property. From that H, we go into forward S. And as you see here, we're going to move nice and backwards from that. And then we're going to do backwards and the command hop, because we need a very specific height. And from there, we're going to go medium into his S and land, and then hit stand medium again. Now for that, you want to do slight delays. If you do everything fast as possible timing, it will drop. It's not going to work out in your favor. It's not difficult, but just basically a tiny delay to each move, the medium and also the S, and it should be enough. But you are going to have to figure out the timing for yourself. It's very easy for me to say the timing, but it doesn't necessarily translate till you do a couple reps and try it out for yourself. But yeah, it is not too difficult. So that is forward and S. It's not too difficult a concept, just got to practice, get the muscle memory. The next one here is just stand heavy when you're doing like a mid-screen combo into the down, forward, and heavy hop because you want this very specific angle. And when that happens here, you toss a key blast and you basically will land right on top of them. You will go for a jab into another key blast and you'll land right on top of the enemy. Perfect place to combo out from. Now what you want to do with this combo is naturally up to you, right? You can do something basic and do like that, or you can do the more complex one we showed at the start of the segment here, incorporating that forward and S re-jump as well. Whatever you want, hey, it's an option. So we already got a couple complex options for combos besides just the basic launch up, like medium light, down heavy, and homing on in, right? So Roshi has some more complex concepts. Another fun one is whiffing, split leg kick here, the light version specifically, as it moves backwards. So any given combo here in the corner, into stand heavy. Since it already moves you backwards a little bit on the initial hit, so you cancel that stand heavy into that split leg kick. Hey, he's out of range. And specifically, he can recombo from it. There's an example in the combo guide that's linked at the end of this video again. So effectively, yeah, not too complex. Just do what you're going to do here in the corner, cancel the split leg kick, and just recombo from there. It's really that simple. And leads to pretty damaging combo routes as well. So yeah, Roshi just has a lot more to work with than just the plain basics. Now, to talk about the follow-up to his level 1 super. So you spend the additional bar, you get an extra animation, do more damage. That's fantastic, right? But there's a bit more to it than that, because that extra animation is pretty long. And you can get away with a lot of extra stuff. So just to get the big one out of there, because I know everyone always asks about this kind of stuff. Yes, this extra follow-up lets you get the Goku Spirit Bomb off. So you can do whatever combo you want. He'll hold him in place long enough. You will get that Spirit Bomb. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Don't got to worry about it. But that's not where the fun ends for Master Roshi. So Piccolo is another character. When you tag out and call into his level 1, you're actually able to hold it for a little bit. And you can just charge it up extra and get extra damage. So a little bit more than your stock level 1 would otherwise give you. And since Roshi holds him in place for so long, there's a lot more options as well. So in this example here, we did a full corner combo, max hit stun, all that kind of stuff, right? Just so you know. We did Big Bang Attack Super for Vegeta, Super Saiyan Vegeta specifically. And we had enough time to recover, land, and then go for a Dragon Rush because Roshi holds him in place for just that long. So since Roshi holds him in place for that long, man, just a lot of things are possible. I encourage you to play around and just see what you can get. So now to talk about another fairly sizable weakness of Roshi here. So he doesn't have the traditional super dash, right? He gets these guys instead, but they have their own strengths, right? So you could say, well, you win some, you lose some. This one's just straight net loss. So Roshi cannot float. And what do I mean by that? So if you pick literally any other character in the game and use something like a super jump, right? When you super jump, I super jump, say, straight up. I still have some modicum of air control. I can move backwards or forwards just a little bit, right? And for things like super jump installed moves, I can also maintain that float property. So say from this exact distance, right? If I want to do for a dash, maybe I can't reach, right? But if I were to super jump install the dash, I could go over, right? So I gave my dash, my instant air dash, super jump properties, and I can use that float we just talked about a second ago to just barely make it over their head when normally I just couldn't do it, right? And these are more advanced techniques, yes, I know. If you're just starting the game or if you don't care about this kind of stuff, maybe this doesn't affect you. But Roshi just can't do it. So if you super jump, he has no air control at all. He cannot go left or right, and conversely, much the same here for an instant air dash. He can't float either. So if you know how this stuff works, well, now you know he can't do it. And if you don't know about this stuff, well, then I don't know. I guess don't worry about it, because if you don't know, then you don't know. But at higher level play, floats do matter. It just gives you an extra layer of movement, and for like super jump to install moves, the float properties helps with mix-ups, that kind of stuff. And Roshi, hey, he can't do it. Now to talk a little defensive theory. Roshi has two defensive moves. One where he hulks out, and one where he has the split leg hop. And they're both useful in different ways. Now here's the thing. The pound for pound easy one is definitely hulking out. Especially because the X version has armor on frame 1, the guard point. Starts up right away, earliest possible timing. So it shuts down a lot of stuff. So let's look at a very common situation in this game, right? You block the vanish and the hit buttons right after. And naturally, if you try to challenge him on those button hits, you're not going to win. But for Roshi, hey, don't got to worry about it too much, right? So that's the X version. And specifically, since his medium and light version have the guard point start on frame 4, that means in this exact scenario, he can also win out as well. So yes, it's not your turn, quote unquote, but since Vanish is only advantage 2 frames, plus 2 as it were, and the fastest possible attack in this game is 6 frames, that means there's a 4 frame gap, and in that 4 frame gap, that's exactly enough time for that guard point to activate, you to tank the hit and blast their head open. So if you ever find yourself in this situation blocking that Vanish, know this, you can always go for your defensive Hulk out move, and you will be able to go through it with your guard point. You don't have to stress it too much. Now, of course, there's a lot of ways to bait this kind of stuff. There's a lot of ways around all that kind of stuff, but just keep it in mind. Now, in situations where it's not quite as cut and dry as that scenario here, and you were just looking for a get off me, right? The X version works out great. And since it catches everything, you might say, well, why ever use that over the split hops, right? Because the split hops are only immune to low hitting attacks. Well, here's the thing. One, obviously, you will need a low hitting attack. Some people, their standard lights are lows, like say Android 18. But here's the thing. If you do this and you guess wrong and they block, you are done. Like, let's bring on our frame data here. Just to show you, man, you are so done for. There's no saving you. On multiple levels. Negative 15, that's the punish. There's gaps where this can be reflected through, or like mash level 3 through, that kind of stuff. And of course, if you think you're smart and try to save yourself on advantage, that's not going to work. You're going to get down heavied. You are done. But say you are smelling that low, and you want to go for your frame 1 low counter, go for the split hop. If you get blocked, you're negative 5, you're safe. So yes, you invest the same amount of bar, but if you smell that low, if you think it's coming, it is actually much more to your advantage to go for the split hop, because just in case you're wrong, it's literally, oh, okay, I guess I got a block now, versus I potentially just lost the character if this gets blocked. So keep it in mind, there is some risk management on that, and that's just a little bit of defensive theory. So in things that are very easy to know where the numbers are, like the classic Vanish setup, because Vanishes are always +2. That is just how it is. That means you'll always have enough time to do your regular Hulk out. And for things where you don't know for sure, yes, you can always go for the EX version, because on frame 1 that armor kicks in. But otherwise, if you think it might be a low attack, you know, just someone just poking at you, go for the split leg, just because you get a big reward anyways on hit, because, yo, it's a wall bounce on hit, right? You will get a full combo on hit. And if you were somehow wrong, well, there's no real big penalty to it versus just getting destroyed if this gets blocked. Now, one little interesting tidbit here about Master Roshi is his tag-ins. Be it just tagging him in the old-fashioned way, or just, in the guard cancel, whatever. His tag is actually faster than other people's tags. So as you can see here, Roshi tags in 22 frames, another character 26 frames, another character yet, hey, 26, Roshi 22. So he actually tags in faster than the average character. This is another thing that is fully unique to Roshi. Everyone else in the game tags in at the same speed except for Master Roshi. Now, of course, when he tags in, the Kamehameha dashes, well, they have fixed angles. There's no amount of homing to them. That's just how that works, right? But there's actually a little bit of some application here. So a lot of characters, you can down heavy, heavy, whatever in the air, get that smash property, tag out, get the next guy, right? That's just standard. Lots of characters can do it. So cool, here comes base Goku do whatever combo. But Roshi can actually get in on some moves other characters can't. So Gogeta using his new and improved beam, right? So season 3.5 got a buff. So yeah, just no chance. Super Dash cannot get in, right? But Master Roshi, he totally can. He can get in, right? Because his tag is faster. Due to the fact his tag-ins are just simply faster than other characters in the game, he can get tag combos everyone else in the cast simply cannot. So that is another unique aspect to Master Roshi. So when it comes to Okizeme post knockdown pressure Roshi, he's got some basic stuff, but it's the good kind of basic, the kind of stuff that you want that just plain works. And also he lucks out in that his level 3 and his down medium in the air, which is going to be like what you're going to end 90% of your combos in anyways, both have the exact same setups. So mid-screen, Roshi doesn't get much. So we get the enemy just to wake up jab, their fastest possible move, and yeah, we can stuff it. We can stuff it, right? So he's got something. But it's just basically run up like down M or run up Dragon Rush. Not too complex, right? Man, once we move it to the corner, things start working out a little bit more. So the setup, again, not too complex. This time we'll set it to wake up down heavy, just so you know it's legit here. And all you gotta do is after your level 3 or after you're down M in the air, just jump forward and hit heavy. There you go. Legit that simple. So obviously, as you just saw, it's stuff that down heavy, and down heavies are air immune, but not in the first few frames, which is exactly the frames you're hitting them in. And much the same here, if they were to do a big old like level 3 super something like that. So if they're in place to be hit, then great, we get the hit, and if not, oh, we saw that super flash, time to block, right? We get the block, easy peasy. So it's safe, it works out any way we want it. And from that safe jump, once again, all you gotta do is just jump forward, no special timing. You can even hold up if you want. And land with heavy. From there, we get the basic 3-way mix. So we get the actual move, we get the move, and you don't do it and you land, do a down light. And Roshi has a low hitting down light. Or, right before you were to land, then you air dash and then it's an overhead. So you get to choose, right? So it's pretty basic mix, but it's a proven effective one over the years of this game. And to have this kind of mix is definitely better than not. So it's awesome. And of course, Roshi having the toolbox he does, you can just land and go for a command grab, land, go for a Dragon Rush. You can do a lot, really. You got quite a few options. Just the fact that you have this command grab just adds an extra layer to it, because even if they block, you can do it, then go right into a command grab, or maybe just empty jump it, and if they whiff reflect or something, then you can command grab them out of it. He's got a lot to work with. So basic, yes. Effective, yes. And once again, just to hammer home, it is not just the level 3s. This is literally every combo in the corner, because no matter how high up you are when you do this kind of stuff, the frame data is the same. It's always 40 frames of advantage. So the same setup works on both your down medium in the air, which you're going to end almost all your combos on, and every level 3. Now, when it comes to a generalized game plan and where should he be on a team, first up, the team stuff, I think Roshi is fine as either your point character or as your mid, not so much your anchor. As an anchor, he's got things anchors like, right? Like he's got a command grab, it's always good for anchors. He's got fast normals. He's got big normals too. Like he's got this kind of stuff, but just his general weirdness when it comes to like movement and all that kind of stuff, I think holds him back a little bit. Plus, just due to how his moveset works, he's going to want assist to help him out with a lot of stuff, right? So I think point is fine. I think mid is fine. Just maybe not so much anchor. And of course, as a mid as well, you have 2 great assists in your beam and your Hulk out, like armored, defensive, high block stun assist that someone else wants to use as the point. So maybe even slight edge to mid because he has either a very strong neutral assist that any point can take great use of, or he has the very high block stun assist that people who have your mix-ups and all their kind of gimmicks that need that kind of stuff, they can take great use of it. And as for the general game plan, man, just control space. He's really good at it. Top of having, classical beam, all that. You got this monstrosity, which is, like, legitimately to me, maybe not to others, but to me, the reason you're picking this character. Like, the threat of this cannot be overstated enough. It is amazing. No one else in the game has a tool like this shock. You completely cut off one of the most important avenues of this game, which is aerial mobility. That's what Dragon Ball FighterZ is a lot of, right? And Roshi gets to say no for a move that is a very little consequence to toss out, very little risk to toss out. You can just do it over and over and over, and the reward is very large, right? So yeah, that is always a threat that should just be in the pocket, and past that, he's just got a lot of tricks, right? Like, if you want to be gimmicky, man, he's got the gimmicks. Like a canned left-right mix in forward heavy, you got command grab. The hops can lead to all sorts of stuff and all sorts of left-right shenanigans, especially with the right assist on your team. Yeah, so basically play it safe and use this like a blunt force hammer. So basically what you want is the enemy's game plan to be disrupted enough to play around this, and once they have to play around it, well, then I guess, they're dancing to your tune, right? If you are doing something and now they can't play the way they want to play anymore, they're going to do stupid stuff. And that's exactly when you close the door on them and seal the deal, right? So, yeah, Roshi's got a little bit of everything. Like, he's not the best rushdown. He's not the best zoner. He doesn't have the best neutral, but he's an amazing toolbox of just a lot of little things. And with that, I think he's a very good, if a little complicated, more than average character. So, in closing, Roshi, he's interesting. I think he's good, actually, but he's definitely not going to be a character for everybody. Unlike the previous character that came up for this game, UI Goku, Ultra Instinct Goku, who absolutely was a character for everybody and is overwhelmingly the most played character in this game now, Roshi is not going to be that. For a lot of people, it's just going to be the movement. They're not going to be able to get around the movement, right? It's weird. It's different. It's not how literally every other character in the game works. That is a deal breaker in and of itself right there, right? And he's definitely a little more on the higher end of the skill cap. He's not quite as easy to use as a lot of the characters in the game, meaning you have to put a lot more time and effort in, and for some people, that's just not their bag. But if it is your bag, Roshi's got stuff for you. Roshi is a character I feel in the future is going to be more and more and more stuff. What you see in this video here is honestly a very basic take on the character. There will be a lot of really cool, interesting tech, combos, gigas, and gimmicks to come, because Roshi has the potential to really crack this game wide open. And I hope you're one of the ones that are there along for the ride and find out. Anyways, my friends, that is it for this video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video's found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.